Hi, this is Mark Little. In this video, I'm going to talk about client acquisition in very uncertain times. I'm going to talk about something that really surprised me 25 years ago when I first stumbled across this notion. When you're out there rubbing elbows with potential clients or referral sources, I always thought that being better than any other financial advisor would be what gives me the edge. There's no question you need to be rock solid when it comes to technical skills. You have to have attention to detail. You can never make mistakes that the client finds. That would be a disaster. But I'm talking about more on the front end. I always thought in my mind, I need to be different and better. And that is true. But for this video, I'm going to talk about how different is better than better when it comes to client acquisition. See, the problem is when you look at the data, you have extraordinary financial advisors delivering extraordinary client service, and then you have the mediocre advisors, which is most advisors, at least in the mind of the client. So the data says that whether you're extraordinary or you're mediocre, clients put everybody in the same bucket. They don't know before they work with you that you're any better than anyone else. So a lot of advisors tend to have very polished office environment, things that will differentiate them on the front end. I think that's all good. I'm going to focus more on how to be different in an AI world. We're in a competition with AI. The theory is that AI will become better than financial advisors very quickly, and there are a lot of financial advisors who are not thinking about this. They're not trying to build what I call moats of protection around their business to make AI irrelevant, delivering services in a way that AI cannot deliver it, and AI will never be able to deliver certain aspects of human-to-human interaction. It will never be able to replace a human experience, having a human interaction with a live human. So I want to talk about that. When we talk about client acquisition, you need to be different. If you think about what your reputation is, what we're talking about is what people know about you before they even meet you. Most of us in our industry acquire clients through referral. So part of the equation is having a reputation that precedes you. All that really means is that things start getting around about you that you're unaware of, but it becomes a marketing tool. The idea of having a reputation is just another word for marketing. What you're doing to be known out in the community among your potential ideal clients before you ever meet them. In this age of AI, when I look at the data, the one thing that clients and potential clients have in common is the more affluent they are, the more they push back on automation. I got to thinking about how did we run this business back in the 80s? We offered top-tier financial services to highly affluent clients before there were ever personal computers, mobile devices. We did everything analog. That's what I'm going to recommend that you consider today. If you want to be different, and you want to be different in a way that will gain a reputation for you that actually precedes you, so that when people are describing you to others, these come back to you as referrals. This is the reputation that you've gained. This is actually a marketing exercise. What I'm going to recommend is go analog. We live in a world where increasingly everything is automated for clients. They get automated emails. When they call into your office, they get automated voice messaging systems. Most of the touch points for any business today, clients and potential clients have to wade through the automation. How many times have you been on a phone to your bank or to some service company and they say 1 for English, 2 for Spanish? The idea that you have to go through a complicated phone tree is just an example of how frustrated affluent people are with all this automation. When I say go analog, I'm going to describe how we used to do things in the 80s. And I started bringing back these old ways of doing things because I noticed that it preceded me. It became my reputation. The fact that we have automation at our firm and we do it in the background, but it's not touching the client. Let me give you some examples. You have affluent clients out there, not all of them, but there is a market for affluent clients who are looking for analog services. They just want to deal with a human. They don't want to deal with the voicemail system. They don't want to deal with scheduling links. They just want to have a relationship with a human professional. First thing on the list is ditch the voicemail. If you have a voicemail system that when people call in, it's one of these phone tree things. If you know who you're calling, click that person's extension now. Click 5 and you get a list of the employees. There are what I'm calling virtual PBX systems out there. We have one that cut through all that. So this is an idea of blending modern technology to better client experience. When you call into our system, they answer with our company's name, Comprehensive Financial Services, who are you trying to reach? And that's what the voice says. So they say, I'd like to talk to Mark. Our system will send it directly to me. And the system is set up so that if I'm roaming from the office, I get in the car, it switches to my mobile. But what I like most about it is during business hours, nobody's going to reach me directly. I'm either in with a client or I'm trying to acquire new clients, or I'm heads down working on projects to do work for clients. It's reasonable to think that you should never be available. So what do I do instead in a world where I'm trying to be analog? I set my system up to ring everybody at our firm that works for me. When somebody calls in and asks for Mark, 3 phones ring and somebody picks it up. We've trained our team to answer on the second ring. So they get a person. So pretty much the first voice they hear after they've been asked, who would you like to speak with? They get a human. So there you go. We're cutting through all the automation. If they say, I'd like information about the firm, same thing. Everybody who's currently on duty, the phone rings, they're going to get somebody. Now, the question is, what if you don't have anybody? This is where virtual assistants can come in handy. So reduce the complexity on your voicemail system. Let's talk about ditching scheduling links. What do you do in that case? When you need to talk to someone, it just seems easier to send the client your scheduling link or the potential client. What we do at our firm and what we did back in the 80s and works great is every time you need to speak with someone, send them an email or a text and offer them 2 or 3 times. How about today at 4 o'clock or tomorrow at 9 a.m. or tomorrow at 2 p.m.? I always offer 3 options. I follow that up with saying that if that's not convenient, just shoot back 2 or 3 times you're available and I'll try to make one of them work. The thing about the scheduling link, and I've seen data on this as well, people are tired of them. You're trying to fit people into what's convenient for you. By doing it this way, you put an offer on the table, but you're allowing them to give you a time that's more convenient for them. And then if they shoot you back some times and it doesn't work, then I would just pick up the phone. The point is, go analog. This will create a reputation for you that will make you radically different than anyone else. Think about every touch point that you have with a potential client or a client. If normally you send an email, I'll often send a handwritten note to confirm an appointment. That's something that nobody ever does. It'll stand out. Same goes for newsletters. If you send out a client newsletter to potential clients, I know we send these in an automated way. You have some newsletter that's like a PDF, something like that. It's easy just to broadcast it out. It's a higher budget item, but it's worth the investment if you send it out, paper newsletter with a stamp on the envelope, send it out as direct mail. Is it more expensive? Yes. Is it radically different than everyone else? Yes. Nobody gets valuable thing through snail mail anymore. It's all junk mail. Everybody's sending the automated same old thing. You want to be different. You want to convey that the experience with you is not going to be anything like an AI experience because you're hiding the automation from them. But let's talk about how AI and automation can actually help. We are using AI in almost every facet of our business. We're delivering truly comprehensive financial services. We're finding ways behind the scenes to create comprehensive written lifetime financial strategies for ideal clients faster than ever before. It's all help by AI. That means the cost of our delivery of service has come down more than 50%. But all the work being done behind the scenes doesn't mean that the client feels that. When we deliver the service, client comes in for a routine client progress meeting, they get paper reports. I did research 25 years ago, and I discovered that affluent clients do not like the statements and reports that they get from their financial advisor. So we sat down with affluent clients. We'd show them a statement that we were sending out, and we'd say, if you were to redesign this, what would you like? What would you prefer? Turns out there's just some simple information that clients care about. It's how much did I have last time I saw you, or how much was all my stuff worth when I first came in to work with you? What's it worth today? They want simple. So go for clarity, and rather than have a report that says 4 or 5 different things, have 4 or 5 separate reports, one-pagers, that just tell that one piece of information. And don't feel obligated to put every report that you create as preparation for a client meeting in front of that client. Hold it back. See if the issue comes up in the conversation with the client, but you have the report, it's at the ready, they're simple, they're coherent, they're clear. Go for clarity over complexity with these reports. The point I'm making is put a paper report in front of the client. So have a report for her, have a report for him. Make it analog. Make it a simple one-pager with a simple message answering the question that they have or the point that you're trying to make. Go analog. The final piece I'll say in this video is don't sit there in the meeting with a client or a potential client with a laptop or any electronic device. It's okay to record the meeting, and of course you disclose this up front. The point is, let the recorder take the notes. We live in the age of AI to take the recording from a meeting and precisely document what was discussed and what the action items are coming out of this meeting. So the only thing in front of you is paper and pen. And of course, we have a pre-meeting checklist where my administrative staff comes into the conference room or the office where I'm going to be meeting with the client, and they go by a checklist. Each client has a legal pad and a pen, and everything's all set up in advance. So there is something about consistency in the analog experience, but make sure that there's not clutter of electronic devices anywhere in sight. I talked to a lot of advisors over the last 5 years that instead of showing paper reports in meetings with clients or potential clients, they have a big screen TV in the room. They put the documents to be discussed up on a big screen. I'm not saying don't have the screen. We certainly have the screen. I'm saying put the analog paper reports as the method of conveying the information. And then if the client needs clarity or further information, you can always turn on the screen. But what clients really dislike the most, what apparently many advisors do, is they'll put software up on the screen, maybe to run an alternate scenario for the client, or to just showcase some sort of planning that's been done for this client. But rather than pull up a report, they'll pull up the actual software and make live edits up on the screen for the client to see. The more affluent the client, the more they hate that. I couldn't find any data that says any client likes this. Instead of doing live demos of software scenarios or whatever you're doing with software up on a screen, if you don't have a report that conveys what you're trying to explain to the client, create a report, follow up with them later. Don't try to show movement of numbers up on a screen. And I'll sum this up by just saying, give it a try. It's not going to be just trying it once or twice where you'll see the impact of this. Like I say, it's your reputation. If you gain a reputation for having a thoroughly human experience, this will start getting around, and as the years progress, I don't know if it's going to be 3 years or 5 years, but in the not too distant future where AI is extraordinary, it thinks like a human, it talks like a human, it could even be a humanoid robot that looks like a human. Who knows what we're facing? If you have a client that's dealing with automation in any form at a high level like that, they'll know it. I don't care how good the automation is. But when they're dealing with a human, there are elements that AI will never be able to replace. The idea of trust, the idea of reassuring another human being that they're going to be okay in their financial future. Even if AI could sing happy birthday to a client, it just wouldn't have the same impact. Humans know when they're dealing with another human. There's something about the randomness of our conversation, our mannerisms. There will always be a market for affluent clients that insist upon human interaction. The more you can create that reputation, you'll start to notice when clients come in, they already know that this is going to be a direct interaction with a human professional, and the relationship is going to deepen over time, as will the trust. That's all I wanted to cover in this video. Just give it a try, and you'll differentiate yourself from automation, from AI. This is part of a moat of protection that will make you AI-proof. You'll become known as a business that AI cannot reproduce, and you'll be doing things that AI will never be able to replace. All right, we'll see you in the next video.